Hi, this is Preston Sallin with Home Inspection Carolina, and today I want to talk about, I don't know if it's my new favorite camera, but it's my all-in-one camera. It's the Canon M50. You know, there's a lot of reviews on there, and there's a lot of people who know a lot more about cameras that you probably could watch and get more specifics than you could about me. I'm not a photographer. I'm just a guy who owns a business who does a lot of videos and blogs and stuff. Just about his business and whatnot, but I'm not a cinematographer. I watch YouTube videos just like a lot of you guys do. So this is just a review from a guy who knows a little but not a lot. So my go-to camera, you know, I own Home Inspection Carolina. I do a lot of home inspection videos, and then we go on trips. I do videos and vlogging and stuff. It started out as trying to help my business, and it still is. But you know, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like documenting our family's lives. You know, I don't have 1 million followers. I only have 3,000. I mean, that would be cool. But honestly, one day I think when I go back and look, it's kind of like a documentation of my family's lives, if that makes sense. But anyway, neither said here nor there. So I'm out running and gunning all the time. If I know I'm going to film something and I really want, and I have a tripod and I have, I want to do a really good job, I use my Canon 70D. I love this camera. It's great for photography and things like that. However, when you're on vacation with your family, you're doing a lot of things. I'm not there. A lot of these guys have the benefit of being a photographer and that's it, and they're going there for that specific thing. I'm with my family. Lugging this thing around is kind of a pain in the butt. I'll carry it with me just if I know I'm going to film something specifically, but this isn't my main sort of run and gun sort of thing. Also, I like photography. I can take really good pictures with this. So I have been using the Canon G7X, which I really do love. It's got time lapse. It goes down to 1.8 or 1.2, I'm not sure. But it's a great camera. It'll fit in your pocket, fits on this thing. It's real convenient. If you're just running around doing stuff with your family or out working or whatever, it doesn't get in the way, but yet it gives you a good, 1080p, good high quality, if you're wanting to blog something. The downside of the G7X is it doesn't have an external mic. So you can't do like a shotgun mic or a lavalier mic or something like that. It's really good for vlogging, I guess, or if you're going to be up close or doing something like that. Still love it. But if I was going on a trip, let's say like we went to Europe, I brought both. I brought this kind of for vlogging and everyday running and gunning, doing the tours and stuff like that. And then I brought this when I knew we were going to, have a chance to get really good pictures and high quality, that sort of thing, DSLR. But it's two cameras. So that's where the M50 comes in. I bought the Canon M50, and I think if you just had one camera, this is sort of a combination of the two. It's not as good, in my opinion, as a bigger DSLR by any stretch of the imagination, the pictures and things, but it's a lot better than the G7X by itself. But the great thing about this, just like both of those cameras, you have the touch screen. You can see yourself in frame. It also has a port for the mic, but it's very small. It's not much bigger than the G7X. It does record in 4K. I will tell you sort of a downer though. I took this thing to the baseball game and I was recording in 4K the whole time and vlogging and whatnot. The 4K, the bad thing about it is the autofocus is really slow. So a lot of that footage is out of focus. Now in 1080p, it's really fast. It does go at 60 frames per second and 120. I think the resolution goes down the higher you go up. Again, I'm not an expert. I think it goes down to 720p at 120 frames per second or 125 frames. I like 60 frames per second because if I want to slow it down, I can. I know if you... Again, this is way beyond, and I'm sure somebody who really knows a lot about cameras could just give me the thumbs down right here because I don't know that much. I just like to film cool stuff and informative stuff, and I know it's just enough to be dangerous. But I do like 60 frames per second because if I wanted to slow something down in slow motion or make it more smooth and buttery, I can. But anyway, having said that, it's a great camera, 24 megapixels. It is very good in low light too. So I did take this to Europe, and the great thing about this, it's just a great all-around camera. If you only had to take one camera, I would take the M50. I know some people are knocking it on Facebook because it's a $500 camera. You can't compare it to a $3,000 camera. But like I said, a couple of things I like about it. It's 24 megapixels. The image stabilization, although Google that, there's a double negative on that. Like, you've got stabilization on your lens and in your camera, and you probably want to make sure that it can get a little messy there. But it has the external mic, and at 1080p, the autofocus is very fast. You have the ability to record in 4K, but I would do that more from a tripod where it can fix the focus. If you're having to constantly adjust the focus, the 4K, that is a little bit of a downer. I pretty much most of the time go in 1080p. But anyway, low light situations are great. The touch screen is fantastic on this. It's a lot like your phone. With your phone, I can adjust the f-stop, the aperture, that sort of thing, really quickly just on here. That I really like that. There were a couple other things that I was going to say that I like about this. Obviously, I could do all the techie stuff, and I can pull up the stats, and you can do that too. But there's a lot of good qualities about this. But the big thing that I like is, if you just had to take one camera, this would be the one I would take, because it's a good vlogging camera. The autofocus is good, and you can take some really high quality pictures. And the best part is the lens. So I can, with this lens, I can use any one of my Canon lens. I have to get an adapter. So this is the 15 by 45 lens that comes with it. I have this one in, the bigger one, which is the 55 by 200. Pretty nice, but it's kind of a mini lens. But the cool thing about this camera is, again, like if I was just taking one camera on a trip, you can get this adjuster and adapter. So if I put on the adapter here, hold on a second. It should be right there. Okay, so now with the adapter, I can put on any of my Canon lens, including my Nifty 50. So it just makes it available for all my all of your lenses. So if you were wanting to do a combination of vlogging and taking really good pictures, I would take the Canon M50 because it's a great vlogging camera. It's light, it's small, it's compact, easy to run and gun. But then when you want to take serious pictures, you can put the adapter on and put any of your Canon lens, and any lens that would go on my 70D, I can put on my M50. So anyway, I thumbs up for the M50. It's another tool. I mean, I guess my recommendation was, if I had to take only one camera on a trip somewhere, this would be my choice, because it's a good hybrid combination of both, where I can take really good pictures, I can do some quick vlogging, I can do all the other stuff, time lapse, the Wi-Fi, all that, and I can get 24 megapixel pictures with every lens that I've got. So if I had one camera, it would be the M50, if I could only take one. All right, well, I'm going to end this vlog with a couple of pictures that I've taken, and maybe some footage from the M50, so you sort of get an idea of it. All right, I'm going to switch it over to that, and thanks for watching. Okay, this is with the Nifty 50 lens. We've had a lot of rain, and kind of the hurricane blew through here. So obviously I cannot, this is a fixed aperture lens, but it would be really good for faces and that sort of thing, which I'm not filming. Great job there, Preston. Okay, this is my Canon EF 16 by 35 lens. Obviously I can zoom a little bit with this, but again, this is through my Canon M50 EF 16 by 35 lens with the adapter. I'll zoom in a little bit. And again, we've had some, this is the day after we had all that rain from that hurricane. Might have a little condensation on the lens there. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's a little better. And this is the 15 to 35 kit lens that comes with the M50. Does a really nice job, actually. I actually think it's better than the lens with the adapters. Does a good job. Again, I like the M50. It's a good camera if you could only choose one camera.